Mckellips. Oh yeah, sure. Oh yeah.
All right, man. Hit me up.
Alright, I'll let you know.
All right, dude. Have a good night. Be safe.
Hey, dude. Me too. Don't work too hard. Try not to.
I'm a full-time tattooer and father and I guess ex-musician.
Nice.
My sister, I have an older sister, she came home. I was like probably, I don't know, like 7 or 8. And she had came home and she had just gotten a tattoo. And it was this Joker from this fucking 90s like bong company called Graphics. It was like a little Joker with a skull. It's like super nostalgic for 90s era, but you'd probably have to Google it if you wanted to know what it looked like. But my sister had gotten it tattooed on her ankle. And I remember she came home and like she was unwrapping like the plastic off it to wash it, and it was like bloody. And I just thought it was like super badass. And I remember as soon as I was like super young, I knew I wanted to get tattoos. And even then when I got older, like as like a teenager, I knew I wanted to get a certain kind of tattoos, and I just didn't know what they were called. Like I didn't know that the tattoos I liked were called American traditional. I just like knew I was like attracted to that one type, and I didn't know what to call it. And then once I found that out, that's when I realized I knew what I wanted to get tattooed at least, you know what I mean? I think I got my first tattoo when I was like 16 or 17, and then as soon as I turned 18 and started making money for myself, I just started going to whatever shops I could go and get a tattoo from when I had money. Growing up where I grew up, like, you know, in Salt River on the res, we would get like per cap and stuff. So like every time I'd get per cap, which is like 4 times a year, I would make it a point to get myself a tattoo.
Nice.
So like that was like, I'm like, oh, well, I got per cap today, so I'm gonna go get a tattoo. I started doing that as soon as I turned 18.
Yeah.
That was kind of like my pattern. And then eventually, after doing that, I ended up meeting a guy at a specific shop that I kept going to repeatedly, like over and over, like repeatedly, you know what I mean? I kept getting a lot of tattoos from him specifically. That kind of introduced me to the world of tattooing and like taught me a lot about the culture, I guess.
Were you always like a creative person?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think as a kid, I can remember like in elementary school, like being into, again, just music and pro wrestling, and like kids sitting around in class, we would just draw like wrestling stuff. Everyone would try to draw the Undertaker or Sting or stuff like that.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't really get into art until like out of high school, and then again, I don't think it's really art, but it's just, I guess it's the biggest artistic part of my life would be out of high school, getting into graffiti and stuff like that. At the time when I was young, I thought it was cool, but I guess like most things, once I figured out there was a culture behind it and there was a meaning to everything, I feel like that's what drew me to it. Just like tattooing, you know what I mean? Once I discovered there was a culture behind it and everything meant something, that's what drew me to it. But graffiti did the same thing. Because I remember being around it as a kid. I had older brothers who were into it, and then even getting into high school, I had a ton of friends who were doing it. And the more I got into it and started doing it, I saw how serious it was and how you could take something from nothing and become something, I guess. It just kind of fascinated me. You're saying fuck all rules, and you're saying fuck everything, and you're not really caring about anything else, and you're just taking this name and you're trying to make this name as big as you possibly can. You know what I mean? And that just like was so cool to me. Like, and I would see these names around. There were names I would see everywhere, And like some of these people are like, they like had these like larger than life kind of personas, and they were just writing their names on everything. And I thought that was like, I was like, what the fuck, this shit's crazy. And once I like realized that and like saw what it could be, I was like, I doubled down on it. Like I was all in, you know what I mean? I dropped everything for it. I started doing it like late 18, 19, probably did it for like a good solid 10 years, maybe 10 plus years. You know what I mean? Some people do it a lot longer than that. I know people that are still doing it that are like 50 plus that are still doing it. I love it, you know what I mean? It just like people around me, their lives kind of weren't going anywhere. And I guess I seen myself going down that same road, and I knew that the life I was living was coming to an end. I knew I had to do something. And at the time I didn't have kids. I just was thinking about my future, like of the sense of like, oh, okay, I can't do this forever. I can't just like run around, do graffiti. I felt like walls necessarily were closing in on me. Like there was pressure from the outside world, like, cause you know, you're living in this like tight community, and like the community you're involved in is basically illegal. You know, like graffiti is illegal. And then all these people inside this cesspool of graffiti do super other illegal things to make money. So it's just like, I could feel the pressure. I could feel the walls coming in on me. It was like I had to do something. And I remember I was considering to become a blackjack dealer, and I had signed up for these classes. The classes, they only do them like a couple times a year, so I was like waiting for the next class to start. And I had got offered an apprenticeship by this guy who owned a shop in Scottsdale. And I had a friend who tattooed, and he just started tattooing there. So I would go hang out there a lot. And then one day I was there, me and the shop owner had met, and we were talking about music and this band that I'd been in since I was like 19. That band name came up, and I was like, oh yeah, I played drums in that band. And he would happen to be a fan of that band. He had like been a fan of our music. So like small world kind of like interaction, you know what I mean? And so he was real fond of me after that, because he was like, oh, he's in this band. That band's badass. So he liked when I would come hang around and stuff like that. He offered me a job to work there as the shop guy. And I told him, yeah. Long story short, he ended up giving me a call and was like, I can't afford to pay you after all. Me and my wife spoke about it. It's not gonna work. Like, we can't afford to hire someone. But he ended the conversation. He's like, but if you would want to come work for free, I'd be down to teach you how to tattoo. You know what I mean? And I was like, no, I don't think I want to do that. I was just willing to work the job to make extra cash while I was waiting for this class, basically, you know what I mean? And then I was like, no, I'm good. Like, I did want a tattoo early on in my 20s, but I was like, I'm 28, going on 29. Like, I was like, I think it's too late. I think that time came and went for me, you know what I mean? And I remember sleeping on it for a couple days, and I was just like, man, I don't know. I always wanted to do it, and I just got offered, you know, someone to teach me. So I was like, I kind of figured, I was like, if I don't do it, I'm just gonna regret it forever. So let me try it. And I ended up calling him back, and I was like, let's do it, you know what I mean? And I started, I think 2 days after that, I started going to the shop and apprenticing full time. Yeah. And the person who offered it to me and did that for me, I feel like I owe him everything. You know what I mean? I talked to him today on the phone for an hour. You know what I mean? We talk all the time. Before that, I didn't have a credit score. I had never owned anything in my life. I had bought a lot of things, you know, in cash, you know what I mean? But I had never financed a single fucking piece of property in my life. I didn't have a credit score. I didn't have anything. And I was like almost 30. I couldn't even like get approved for a credit card. And it was just crazy from then till now. I turned 37 this year, and my life is like night and day compared to back then, you know what I mean? It's kind of wild. And I got all that from tattooing.
How was the journey like trying to open up your own shop?
It wasn't like, it's crazy because it wasn't something I really wanted to do. I never had plans to do it, I guess I could say that. Like when I got into tattooing, I had like dreams of like working in a like really sick shop and like working under someone for X amount of years, and like that's really what I wanted. I wanted to work somewhere cool and work for someone badass and like work under them. And I had moved to Tucson right out of my apprenticeship, tattooed down there for years. And then when I moved back up here, I really tried to get hired at places I really wanted to work at, you know what I mean? It didn't work out. I wasn't getting anywhere with it. I don't know if like they don't like the way my face looks or what. They just, no one wanted to hire me, you know what I mean? So I just did what I had to do, you know what I mean? I didn't want to, I'm sure there was plenty of shops I could have got hired at, but I didn't necessarily want to work for those people, you know what I mean? I wanted to work for someone like me, so why not just work for myself? I try to get help from the tribe. It kind of went nowhere. I mean, I probably could have gotten the help from them. I can't really like bash on them and say, oh, they didn't want to help me. I wasn't willing to do what they wanted, I guess, in order to get the help from them. So I just got a private loan, jumped through those financial hoops on my own. I found this place for rent, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna rent this place. I kind of like, it might just be a private studio, I don't know, I might just work here by myself. It was really big, but it was bigger than like, way too big for one person, but it was just like the price was what I was like, you know what I mean? The price was right, and kind of made it work, you know what I mean? It was rough, like for like, I think the first 2-3 months it was really rough. And my kids felt it too, you know what I mean? My kids and my lady felt it. It was a lie, dumped everything I had into opening it, that's why. And I knew I wasn't gonna get like a reward out of it right away. So you know what I mean? Like dumping all of your money into something and then like knowing that it's gonna pay off, but it's gonna take a little bit of time. That was like a gamble, but I was willing to do it, you know what I mean? There was a lot of bologna sandwiches eaten during that time, you know what I mean? A lot of grilled cheese sandwiches and cans of soup, but we got through it. Some people don't understand the type of tattoos I'm doing, which is fine. I think what I do isn't for everyone. Me personally, I think it's the best. I know that's a bold statement, but not my work personally. I just think, you know, traditional tattoos are the purest form of tattooing. You know what I mean? It's like, I love everything about it. It makes me like emotional sometimes just talking about it. I know that sounds weird, but like, it's just, there's something about it that just like draws me to it. And I don't expect everyone to get that. And I get that to some people, certain things look silly and cartoony and stuff, but I don't know. I guess I just try to encourage people, you know, not to judge what they don't understand, and just, you know, like respect it for what it is, because to me it's awesome, you know what I mean? I feel like that's the only like pushback I get, is just like, what we do here isn't for everyone. The people that do get it, they love it, but the people that don't get it, I don't blame them for not getting it, you know what I mean?
What do you see like the future of the shop, like where you want it to go?
Honestly, I don't know. I've actually been thinking about that a lot. I would like to stay here, or even if I had to eventually leave this location, I would still want to be a shop. You know, I don't think I could ever work for anyone else ever again. I think I've gotten myself so deep in this that it's like I would look like a fool to work for someone else, you know what I mean? So I think I have to just ride it out. I think I have to do this for as long as I can. I would want to teach, if not both my kids, one of them, I would like to teach one of them how to do what I do. I think that's probably one of my top goals would be to try to teach one of my kids what I do and have something to leave them. You know what I mean? I think that's awesome. I think the shop is a big part of who I am. You know what I mean? I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it's like the prettiest shop. It's just a tattoo shop. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I think it's everything that a tattoo shop should be. We have everything in here to make a tattoo, big or small. We have everything here, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's kind of crazy, like looking around at it and realizing like this is all mine, you know what I mean? It is kind of wild, but I don't know, I'm still here, you know what I mean? And like, I don't think I'm here because I have the most popular shop, or I don't think I'm still here because I'm the most popular person or I'm the best at what I'm doing. I literally am just still here because I love tattooing, and I'm gonna just keep doing it no matter what anybody thinks. And yeah, that's it.
Yo, I have something for all you homos out there.